thing, which is the treatments will only be available for the rich people. So I'd say dictators kind of fall into that category of exclusive people that people are afraid the treatments would be available for. Um, I personally, I think if the treatments are only available for rich people at the beginning, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think rich people always have access to the newest and greatest technology, and I don't really see a problem with that. But I also see that all the technology that they have access to ends up coming down cheaper and cheaper in price, and everyone else has access to it. So Bill Gates doesn't have a better TV than us. They don't have a better computer. He doesn't. They don't have better stuff than we do. They don't have better speakers. We all have access to relatively the same stuff, and it's just over time as the technology improves, the prices just become significantly cheaper and more affordable for everyone. And I really believe that this treatment could be affordable for everyone. And I believe it's almost, like I've said again, it's a right that people should have access to these medical technologies to be able to extend their life inevitably. So,
Yeah, you could even use it for motivation, like go get rich. If you want to live forever,
yeah,
give yourself
exactly.
the best chance possible. Go get rich. At least get. You're not going to be in the first 100 people, maybe, but you may be in the first 1,000 or 10,000 or million. So for me, that's just like, hey, motivation. Okay, if I want to live forever, and I'm not 10 years old right now. I don't have that kind of head start. So I think go make some money and put yourself in a good position so you can afford it, the therapies for your family. But before, it could take, let's say the first therapies come out in 20 years, yeah, maybe, or 10 or 20 years, and then okay, maybe only the 1% can afford it from there, and then maybe it's 10, 20 years after that, it becomes a commodity. It becomes just generic applications and stuff like that. And now it's just a part of your routine. Kids are born. They start taking the therapies when they're 10, 15, 20 years old. And you just, maybe it's some system like that. You just take them every few years. It's just like a doctor's appointment. I don't want to, I don't make the analogy this is like the vaccines or anything like that, but it certainly seems like this is something that it would be opt-in. It wouldn't be forced on anybody. And I would say the interesting part of it would come from the social aspect of, I guess, social/capitalism aspect of insurance companies. I really hope in the future they're not trying to screw people. Like, oh, you didn't take your longevity stuff? Well, now you got to pay double. Like, I
Yeah,
really hope
yeah,
that
definitely.
hopefully the government steps in, like, and make sure it's stuff like that. People are protected from things like that. They're already trying to do stuff with DNA testing and stuff like that too. It's kind of ridiculous. But I mean, that's kind of their job, right? Like they want to use every piece of information to see how they can evaluate your risk profile. But there's certain stuff that's just off limits. So hopefully that'll be off limits and will be protected from being abused from the side effects of the technology in the future as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like you said, that motivation thing, I think that's a really interesting point to bring up. And what better motivation is there to go and get rich besides saving your own life? I feel like that's pretty strong will. Um,
That's all you have is time.
yeah, definitely. It's everything. The only thing that everyone has that's alike, and that's the same, is everyone has 24 hours in a day. So,
But that's what's cool about longevity research. We can get even more of it. We can give people even more, or at least the possibility of more. Right now, you don't really have, like, most people are never going to see 100. They're definitely never going to see 120. It's exceptional for a reason. A lot of people aren't going to see 80, and that's crazy. If we could give everyone, hey, we give you a baseline, at least you can see 200 years. You just take the therapies, take them every few years or so. They last maybe 5 years to a decade, or maybe it's, I don't know, I don't know if it's every year, every 2 years, every 5 years, however the cadence is. But if you take your therapies, you can live, and you don't get in some crazy accident or otherwise, you live a pretty good life. Maybe you have a good diet that helps too. You live to be 200. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Let's give everyone the opportunity to have as much time as they can on this earth.
yeah, definitely.